often struck by the dangerous narcissism fostered by spiritual rhetoric that pays much attention to individual self-improvement and so little to the practice of love within the context of community. Packaged as commodity, spirituality becomes no different from an exercise program.
That's a strong overlap with the Healing Justices book too. They have a really good encapsulation of that concept there too. Yeah.
So that, I just opened, that was just opening the page.
That's called bibliomancy.
I'm so sorry. I am so sorry I moved my arm.
Olive is not a fan of bibliomancy.
And or moving your body at all.
Yeah,
but yeah, so essentially like what has gotten me to read it and reread it, obviously, as you can see, like there's so many lines in this that are so succinct and short. Like it's not quite like Healing Justice Lineages where I feel like that's more academic.
Yeah, it can get kind of...
And like there's another one that's like, about like abolition geography that like also is really like dense academia. This, I think, like is a dense academic that learned how to like write in prose almost. So it's like the whole thing is poetry. So
she is the Queen of Hearts.
Make you want to reread it over and over again because every line has that kind of power statement almost. And why I find comfort in certain spiritual communities.
And it's not always where you'd expect, right? It's like a little hard to, if you just see the surface of it, you're like, well, everything's here, right? Nothing bad is happening. Why don't I feel,
Yeah. So I think like, the thing that also is like, it's literally called All About Love. And I do believe that there's so much like we're coming to in the like kind of mental health sphere and the wellness sphere and the social justice sphere that we're starting to understand, but so often we contextualize what's going wrong and we don't necessarily talk about like the activities as like emotions that we can attain to start course correcting. And I do believe that like even when we're talking about like recreating new systems in our future and like how we want to come together, like we want to pretend that like we can kind of just create better systems, but like we have to do a lot of harm repair. And like we're going to have to do that first and probably for like hundreds of years till like the systems are even gonna want to be there, because otherwise we're just bypassing the harm that we've created. And so how are we gonna do harm repair if we don't understand love? We literally don't understand where we're making our choices, how we're making our choices, our values, our ethics, and our principles. And I know this as a coach, as a business like person, that like so often people don't really think about their choices based off their values, but if they're not doing that, they're still doing that. Like even if you don't know what your values are, you're still choosing a value. And if you don't know what that is and you've let society choose your values,
well, no conscious choice is still a choice.
It's still a choice,
which is really sucky. So, like that's one of the suckiest things I think about, like growth, and
so I feel like this particular book has helped me create cohesion around every choice I make in life, being really clear around what is love, like literally what is love. And even as simple as having a definition of what is love that can be attainable through action. Like love is accountability, love is commitment, love is nurturing, love is growth, love is connection, love is like all of those things. And without all of those things, it's not love. And really to like honor that in like wholeness, I think allows us to live in this world with less fear. Like, and I'm not saying we won't have fear, but I don't think we serve to be making choices through that lens. But if you don't even know you are, right? You don't even know you're making choice through fear because you've given yourself rules and you've said that they were rules, they're not fear. And now you've like made it a little bit separate of it being fear, because it's just a label, it's just a rule. It's just whites over here and blacks over here. We're not doing it for fear. It's just a rule.
Yeah, the intersection of fear and rules is a really interesting one, because I wouldn't say every rule is based on fear, but a lot of them are, right? And like being able to tell, is this rule based on fear or not?
That's based on fear, or is this rule based on love? Are our systems built on believing humans are innately good?
Yeah, or just like practicality, right?
There's also some rules fallible. Like, you know, I'm not saying they're not fallible, they're not with mistakes, but are we building systems that inherently believe that we're good, that we're loving, that we can be loving? Do we actually have hope in humanity? And to me, this book encapsulates all of that. Like all of the, like, where are you starting with your belief system when you are presenting yourself in a space? Like, how are you showing up? And I am not like that. I was not raised in like a super like nurturing environment. Like white culture is really dry, and like I think that that's just like kind of part of it. Most of the like kind of rich white communities, like they like don't know how to share because they don't have to. In a capitalist individualistic world, they like literally don't have to.
Yeah, and anything messy is very taboo,
right? So like no sharing and messy. So what does that do? Like what does that actually do on a sense of like understanding what love is even for? Like what's the point of it?
It tends to reduce it to a, you know, very dry and unfortunate set of, you know, some kind of transactional,
and then you don't even see the purpose of love. So yeah, I feel like I've read and reread this book because like honestly there's just so much beauty to this book and how it's broken down. Like if you want to know a little bit more, you know, just like chapter by chapter, it's very, very little about romantic. There is one chapter about romantic love, and it's mostly about how we overinflate
we cherry pick, right? Love is this huge concept, and then like our culture loves to just cherry
pick. And then
pick.
like how we use language around it, like falling in love, like as if it's happening to us and have no control, and it's just happening. It's just happening.
And then like the possessive nature too, that like you end up getting like taken, or I'm taking your heart, or you know, like,
and then like giving up on friends because your partner doesn't like that person, and then you actually end up losing all your friends. And there's like a lot of that I think in romantic love, you know, but mostly it's about where we've like lost our way when it comes to like honesty and secrecy, and how that is also causing a lack of love, that we're all taught to be dishonest, and men are taught to be dishonest to have power over, and then women are very often taught to be manipulative, and because that's like kind of the only way to be safe. And so this becomes this kind of like go-to space of like secrecy and power dynamics. And then what is that gonna do if like now there's all these secrets? Like how comfortable can we make a space? Like how nurturing is a dishonest space? So, you know, things like that. There's also things about spirituality. I think the spirituality chapter really, really helped me understand why I feel comfortable around some really beautiful Christians in America, and why I don't feel comfortable at New Age events often. And why, like, often, like sometimes the rhetoric in New Age spaces can be very bypassy and not feel communal. Like often I'll go to a lot of those and no one will talk to
cliquey, or like, I don't know, hierarchical,
and very like
absorbed,
you know, and very narcissistic. And it's not that we don't live in, and then the wellness era and the wellness like kind of space since the 60s kind of has become more cast, right? Like, and it's kind of just exponentially grown, you know. So I think like all of that takes into context, like where is love in these spaces? Like, and the places that I feel the most comfortable are when I feel there is love, and that love is what is the guiding light for the people that I surround myself with. I personally believe, like, you know, whether or not you know, like, you are using emotions. You are using emotions. And I do think emotions lead our choices 10 times more than whatever like our brain is telling us, even if we want our brain to be the leader. And I've just seen it like over the experiential
Well,
data.
and let's say left brain, and that kind of segues into my book too, because the brain is not just like one blob of material that thinks for us and helps us make our decisions. Like there are parts of the brain that are
unconscious choices being made. And so I think those unconscious choices, when you have more clarity around your values and around love, that unconscious choice then is going to be automatic, right? Why I have to reread and reread and reread. It's kind of like I'm doing a self-defense martial arts training in love, and I want this to be the thing that's in the back of my head without thinking, this is where I want to be at. I want to be in a place of love, even when it's hard, especially when it's hard.
Right. Well, it's like martial arts. You train obsessively in a gym setting so that when that one in a million time when you are taken off guard by surprise in a dangerous setting, your body doesn't just, your nervous system doesn't just freak out. It goes, oh, I know what to do if someone grabs my shoulder or pushes me down or whatever.
Right. So if I keep reading this, I know what to do when certain situations appear, because she uses multiple examples of things that are really very accurate to our real life, experiences. And then how to navigate them through love. What that would look like if love was the leading energy in that space. Like imagine what it would be like if all Christians led through love. Like in the United States, where would we be at if all the Christians of the US right now in this time were centered in love? And every choice they were making was centered in love. So, I think that's, that says something. Like, we all kind of can feel like that shift, how easily, we would be in a better place.
Yeah.
So, oneness in a real way, like the real actionable ways of feeling one with your people, plants, animals.
Topic